And then we were sent down to join the 2nd Marine Division down in Wellington, New Zealand in October of '43. And then we went up to make the Tarawa operation. That was at that time the British Gilbert Islands. And I started in on the first day, but supposed to be 3 hours after the first wave. But things got very confused in that battle, as they do in many battles, I suppose. And we were all night in the Higgins boats. We couldn't land because our Higgins boat wouldn't take the coral reef. And it was only a first few 200 of these amphibious tractors that managed to climb the reefs, and they were all pretty much shot down in a very few hours. In fact, Sunday morning it was worse going in than Saturday, because the 8th Marine Regiment, the 2nd Division, no longer had any of these Amtraks. They had to go in and get out on the Higgins boats and wade 500 yards to the shore. And the Japanese really got them very bad in the water. And I went in about 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. That was D+1, November 21st. November 20th being D-Day. And we secured the island on Tuesday, the 22nd, and I'm sorry, I guess Tuesday would have been the 23rd, yeah. And then Thursday, the Thanksgiving Day, my buddies, 2 Marines with me and myself, congratulated ourselves on having gone through the battle all right. And it was quiet that morning, and we heard some shots nearby and found out that one of these Marines, Roberts from Arkansas, had run into some snipers, and he was killed. And so Gore and I grabbed our rifles. We put a cartridge a clip into our rifles, ran down the beach, and we saw one jump into one of our amphibious tractors that had been abandoned on the beach. And with that, one of the 2 Japanese, one was in the Amtrak and one was around the back, he threw a grenade at us, and it threw sand all over us. I thought I was wounded, but I wasn't. And then a second grenade. And under cover of that, the one in the back of the Amtrak came around, rushing at us with a fixed bayonet. And I would say he was about maybe 200 feet away, but he covered the ground very rapidly before I could get a shot at him. And he went up and he grappled with Gore. The 2 of them were rolling on the ground. And then I felt that I should do something, so I fired when the Jap was on the bottom. And sand went up in the back of his head. I thought I had gotten him, but I didn't. And Gore, the other Marine, Ben Gore from Tennessee, screamed, "Don't shoot, don't shoot." So I felt I still had to do something, so I took out my knife. I went forward and I stabbed the Japanese Marine, a Kempatai as they called him, in the back 3 times, killing him. And then Gore and I stood up, and then I saw that Gore was bleeding from his shoulder. And I don't know whether it was from the grenade, one of the 2 grenades thrown at us, or the Jap rushing at him with his bayonet on the end of his rifle. Then the Gore jumped into a hole nearby, and with that, I suddenly felt a pain, and I had the rifle in my left hand, a knife in the right, and my arm was hit and went up in the back of my head. I knew it was broken, so I pulled my arm down, and I figured I'd better hightail it out of there. So I ran up the beach about 60, 70 feet, expecting to get shot in the back, but I made it all right. I jumped in a hole with one of the cooks from our outfit, and he was firing at the Japanese with a carbine. He was trying to anyhow, but it was jammed up on him. We told him not to pick it up, but he wanted to have a carbine, so he picked up one that didn't work. So under the cover of the fire, other Marines come up, and I found out later, they did finally dispatch the Marine who was inside the Amtrak. And then I thought Gore would follow me to the dressing station, where I saw General Howland Mad Smith. And then I thought I'd meet Gore aboard the transport, and certainly in Hawaii, but I never did. It was only when I got to the States that I got a letter from one of the fellows saying that while he was in this hole, wounded, the Japanese threw another grenade in and got him in the chest and killed him. So in the station, General Howland Mad Smith was there. He was the commander of the Corps, the 2nd Marine Division, and the 27th Army Division, which was up at Macon. And I saw him looking at me, but I didn't say anything to him, of course, and he said nothing to me. But when he gave me the Purple Heart in Hawaii, he said to me, he said, "You were wounded on D+5." And I said, "That's right, General." And he said, "You were very brave." And that made me feel very good. So that was my little piece of World War II.